Myself, Dr. Rukma C K, Assistant Professor, Department of Agadatantra, Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital. I am going to present on the topic Dushi Visha, which is denatured poison in Ayurveda. This is one of the unique concepts in Ayurveda which is very much important as well as significant in the modern day because of its high importance and because of the sedentary lifestyle, the various changes which take place in the human body, the various diseases which occur, it is all due to Dushi Visha. So let's move on to the slides. The specific learning objectives are clinical presentations of Dushi Visha, the principles of management of Dushi Visha, application of Dushi Visha concept in day-to-day practice. These are my contents in which we will be dealing with the Nidana of Dushi Visha, its Purva Rupa as well as Rupa, its Chigilsa, Pragobakala, Sadhya Sadhyada, Ubadravas, what is the significance in the present scenario as well as its summary. Moving on to the Nidana of Dushi Visha. What has our Acharya said about Dushi Visha? Dushidam Desha Kala Anna Diva Swapner Abhikshnascha Yasmat Dushayade Dhadun Tasmat Dushi Visha Smridam. That is, when there is exposure to vulnerable habitat in the form of Dushida Desha, it may be any sort of Anuba Desha where more of windy climate as well as more of cold climates is prevalent, as well as the deranged seasons, which refers to the Dushida Kala. The Dushida Kala, along with it we have the toxic food, that is the modern day junk foods are there, and the preservative containing food, which refers to the Dushida Anna, along with the constant day sleeping. All these factors lead to the vitiation of the dhadus. Dhadus are the body tissues. We know that as per Ayurveda we have 7 dhadus in our body, starting from Rasa to Shukra. So when these dhadus they get vitiated due to these Dushida, Desha, Kala and Anna, the Dushi Visha is formed. Now as per the Acharya's quote, Shushruta Acharya's quote, it means Yat Stavaram Jangamam Kritrimam Va Dehadashesham Yat Anirkatam Tad Jirna Vishagna Aushadubir Hadam Va Dava Agni Vadadava Shoshidam Va Swabhavado Va Guna Viprahinam Visham Hi Dushi Vishadam Ubedi. The Acharya Shushruta says that any poison, whether it is Stavara, Jangama or Kritrima, let me point out that Stavara is the inanimate poison, Jangama is the animate poison, while Kritrima is the artificial poison. When these types of poison which are not completely eliminated from the body, they get transformed into the stage of Dushi Visha. Also, those poison which have become old, which have been inadequately neutralized by the antidotes, and those which have been destroyed by the forest fire, wind and the sun, as per the Acharya's quote, and that which by nature is not having all the properties of Visha is said to be Dushi Visha. We know, all of us know that actually Visha or poison is having 10 gunas. And when this Dushi Visha is not having all the properties or all the gunas of Visha, they are said to be the Dushi Visha. In modern terms, it can be termed as either denatured poison, latent poison, impoverished poison, weak or cumulative poison. Now, one of the striking factor about Dushi Visha is that, as per Acharya's quote, Virya Alpa Bhavat na nibhadetat kabhavridam varshagananubandhi. Since Dushi Visha is having low potency, it is less virulent. Hence, it does not produce any immediate symptoms, any grave or fatal symptoms in the body. But it gets enveloped by the Kabha dosha, which is one of the Tridoshas, and it lies dormant in the body for several years. And this is one of the striking features which leads to many sorts of diseases in the modern day. In short, to brief about Dushi Visha or the denatured poison, the one which has not been completely eliminated, which has been partially detoxified, when there is incomplete metabolism of the poison, it loses its original gunas and gets converted into low potency, and this, since it is having naturally less potency due to the exposure to the heat, fire, vata and sunlight. Now, there are other opinions about Dushi Visha too. We know that in Kerala, many famous toxicology texts have been followed since the olden times, and one such text is the Kriya Kaumudi. So, in Kriya Kaumudi, it says that if in case of poisonous bites, if Visha is not specified by the potent Vishagna Dravyas, it will proceed from the bite side to further dhadus and they turn into Dushi Visha. And the defective food habits, like we have the Adhyashana. Adhyashana means overeating, then Viruddhashana, that is the Viruddha Ahara or the incompatible food, then the Ajirna Ashana, that is having food when already there is indigestion stage. All this may also lead to Dushi Visha. Also, there is one more point which has been told by the Kriya Kaumudi opinion, that is the retention of the metabolic waste products in the form of feces, urine or menstrual blood in the body. They may lead to the reabsorption of toxins into the bloodstream. That is, when Vegadharana is done or excessive suppression of the natural urges is done, it may also lead to Dushi Visha. Now, what about the Pragoba Kala, or what are the aggravating factors as told by the Acharya? Acharya says that Prakvada, Ajirna, Shida, Abra, Diva, Swapna, Ahidashnei, Dushtam, Dushe, Dhadunado, Dushi Vishasmridam. That is, when a person is exposed to various factors like the strong winds from the east, the case of ajirna or indigestion, or the cold breeze or cloudy weather, or when there is more of habits like day sleeping and more indulgence in incompatible food, all these factors may trigger this Dushi Visha. Now, what about the Dushi Visha Purvarubam or the premonitory symptoms as told by the Acharya? A person who is likely to manifest with the Dushi Visha features, he will have the premonitory symptoms of sleepiness, more of sleep will be there, heaviness in the body will be there, more of yawning will be there, laxity of the joints, horripilations, and as well as body ache, which is said by the Acharya as Nidra, Gurutvam, Cha Vijrambanam Cha, Vishlesha, Harshav, Athva, Angamardam. Now, moving on to the Ruba or the Lakshnas, the manifestation features of Dushi Visha, it has been said as Tena Ardido, Bhinna Purisha Varno, Viganda Vairasya Mugha, Pibasi, Murchan Vaman, Gadgad Gak Vishanno Bhavecha, Dushyodara Linga Jushtam. That is, the various manifestation features of Dushi Visha in the form of, it may be in the form of diarrhea, various skin manifestations, skin discolorations, bad smell and taste, bad taste in the mouth, profound thirst, fainting, vomiting, stammering speech, and symptoms of Dushya Udara or the acute ascites. Now, these are the other Dushi Visha Rupa Lakshnas which has been mentioned by the Shushrudacharya. Like, it consists of the Annamada, that is the stage of intoxication after meals, Avipaka, Arochaka, and mainly it is manifesting as the skin manifestations in the form of skin eruptions and circular patches like the Mandala Kushta, as well as some urticarial rashes in the form of Koda. Also, there will be moha or mental confusion. There will be dhadukshayam, depletion of dhadus. Then there will be edema in the face and the extremities, as well as conditions like ascites and chardi. Now, among all the Lakshnas which have been told by the Acharya, some of the prominent ones are there may be Shukrashaya, that is spermatogenesis, which may be one of the causes of the infertility which is very much prevalent in nowadays. And also along with it, the Acharya is telling about the stammering speech, the Kushta, the Unmada, many of the mental disorders, as well as Vishamajwara like conditions. Now, as per Charagacharya, what has Charagacharya told about the Dushi Visha Lakshana? Charagacharya says that Dushi Visham tu Shonida Dushti Aru Kidiba Koda Lingam cha Visham Egegam Dosham Sandushya Harudi Asuneba. That is, Charagacharya stresses upon the fact that Dushi Visha is mainly leading to the Rakta Dhadu Dushti, and due to which there will be Arumshi, that is pustules over the scalp, or Vruna like condition over the scalp, and skin disorders like Kidiba, Kidibakushta, then Koda, that is the urticarial rashes. So, as each and every dhatu and each and every dosha is affected, slowly, the person's condition will become worse. Now about the sthana anusara lakshanas, that is, when the Dushi Visha is lodged or located in the amashya, then more of Kabhavada rogas will be predominant. When the Dushi Visha is situated in the Pakvashya, the Vadapitta rogas will be more predominant. And when the Rasadi dhadus are affected, then which dhadu has been affected, then more such dhadu pradosha vigaras will be manifested in the persons. So the very beautiful quote has been said by the Acharya, saying that Bhavet Naro Dhvasta Shiro Ruha Ango Viluna Pakshastu Yadha Vihanga. The Acharya says that when the Rasadi dhadus are affected, not only there will be dhadu pradosha vigaras, he also compares or says that the person's condition who has been affected by such Dushi Visha, he will be similar to a bird who has lost all its wings. So it is like the debilitated state of a person in which all the dhadus will be affected, there will be severe hair loss as well as there will be hair loss throughout the body. And this is one such depiction saying about the bird which has lost all its wings and is similar to the debilitated state of a person who is under the effect of the Dushi Visha. So one such feature is very much common in most of the cancer patients who have undergone the radiotherapy as well as the chemotherapy. This can be simulated to such example. Now in short, the role of Dushi Visha, when the toxins they enter the body in small amounts, they remain concealed in a latent form and they get deposited at various body tissue levels, disturbing the normal cell functions. They affect the Rasaraktadi dhadus, leading to various dhadu vigaras. Now moving on to the prognosis or the sadhya sadhyata of Dushi Visha, it is said that sadhyam atmavat sadhyo yapyam samvalsarottadam Dushi Visham asadhyam tu shinasya ahida sevinam. That is, a person who is self-controlled and who is a prudent person, and in cases where there is a recent origin of Dushi Visha, it is curable. While the yapya, it becomes yapya when the Dushi Visha has passed 1 year. And it becomes asadhya or incurable in cases of persons who are very much emaciated and who resort to all types of unsuitable food. Now these are some of the complications of Dushi Visha Ubhadravas, like we have the Jwara, Daha, Hikka, Anaha, Atisara, Mursha, Hridroga, Jatara, Unmada, Vepadu. Many of the striking, the worth mentioning features are Shukrashaya, because nowadays we are seeing that there are a lot of infertility cases and there are so much of reproductive health problems nowadays among the couples. So this may be one of the after effect of Dushi Visha, which is leading to the Shukrashaya. Then we have other mental disorders like the Unmada as well as the Hridroga, which is also very much common nowadays. Now coming on to the line of treatment or how we are going to manage the Dushi Visha, as per Acharya says that Dushi Vishartam susvinnam urdhvam cha adasya shodidam Dushi Vishari agadam lehet madhuna apludam. Here the Acharya says that a Dushi Visha rogi should be given first Svedana, followed by Vamana and Virechna, and after that the Dushi Vishari agada, a polyherbal formulation, should be given along with honey. Now friends, there may be one question. Usually in Ayurveda, in all the treatment therapies, we start with the Snehana then the Svedana. But here, in this case of Dushi Visha, we are not doing the Snehana. Why it's so? So, the explanation for it is, already we have learned that in case of Dushi Visha, there will be a Kabha Avarana. So, if we are doing this Snehana procedure, that is making the body internally as well as externally unctuous, due to which there may be more of increase or aggravation of Kabha dosha. So that's why we are not doing the Snehana procedure. Instead, we are directly going into the Svedana procedure. By doing the Svedana, what happens is that all the doshas, all the humors which are located in the shakha of the body, it will be liquefied and it will be coming into the koshta. Hence, it will help in the easy expulsion of the doshas out of the body. And also, by doing Svedana, we can remove the Kabha Avarana, which is one of the causative factor of making this Dooshivisha a prolonged effect. So, that's why here in this case of Dooshivisha, we should always go for Svedana first, followed by Vamana and Virechana, and then we should go for the intake of the Dushivishari Agada. Now, let's see about the Dushivishari Agada. These are the contents of Dooshivisha Agada, mainly consisting of the Pippali, Dhyamagam, Mamsi, Lodra, Ela, Suvarchika, then Kudannadam, Nadam Kushtam, Yashti Chandana, Gairigam. So this is actually a herbo-mineral preparation which is very effective in many of the diseases, especially the Dushivishaja conditions. So these are the drugs which are there present in this Dooshivisha Agada. Now, to say in short about the indications, it is given mainly in the skin allergic conditions, in generalized itching cases, in complications due to the Dooshivisha, especially the cumulative toxic poisons, and also in case of the Tikshna Stavara Visha and Jangama Visha. Here the Tikshna Stavara and Jangama Visha, it indicates about those Stavara and Jangama Vishas which have gone chronic. So moving on to the mode of action, all the drugs, they are having an anti-inflammatory, antipyretic, antimicrobial, neuroprotective, hepatoprotective as well as antioxidant and immunomodulatory property. And coming on to the mode of intake, it is said that if it is purely a Dooshivisha, then we have to give this Dooshivisha Agada along with honey. If it is the Dooshivisha is located in the Pakvashya, then we have to change the Anupana. It has been made with the Dadhi. So moving on to the Charaga's view about the management of Dooshivisha, the Charaga Acharya is saying that Dooshivisha Madaraktasthidam Sira Karma Panchavidam. That is, the Acharya is saying that when the Dooshivisha is particularly located in the Rektadhadu, we should go for the measures of Panchashodhana as well as the Siraveda. Panchashodhana includes the Vamana, Virechana, Anuvasana Vasti, Niruha Vasti and Nasya. And about the Siraveda, especially the Rekta Moshna, the various types of Rekta Moshna using Sringa, Jaloga, Alabu and Prachanam has to be done over here because they are the best measures to make the blood pure. Now what about the Dooshivisha in the present scenario? Why we are studying about Dooshivisha in the present day? It is because we can correlate this concept in the modern world in the form of, we have seen about the environmental pollutants in the form of air, water and soil, and also some of the xenobiotics which are harmful to our health. Then the sedentary lifestyle, then the endocrine disruptor chemicals. Endocrine disruptor chemicals are those substances which alter the endocrine system and they affect our hormones. Then we have the occupational hazards in the form of the heavy metal poisoning, then the cosmetic toxicity due to the skincare products and the perfumes, and the pesticide induced toxic food. Whatever we are consuming, they are all pesticide induced, whether they are fruits or vegetables, and some way or the other these pesticides are reaching our body and they are having severe impact on our health. And also many of the junk foods as well as the preservative containing foods, they are also having a negative impact on our health. Now these are some of the sources of the xenobiotics in the form of, we can see about the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, then the pharmaceutical industries from where these xenobiotic compounds they are produced, and some of from the agricultural field we have the DDT, the parathion, the organophosphorus compounds. These are some of the examples of the xenobiotics. Now to correlate in modern terms, this Dushi Visha can be correlated to the allergy or the hypersensitivity, or it may be correlated to the cumulative toxicity and the cosmetic toxicity, the environmental toxicity, the drug-induced toxicity, and the most important one is the oxidative stress. They may also be correlated to the carcinogenicity or the mutagenicity. Now to explain about oxidative stress, they are the free radicals. We have to know about free radicals. Free radicals, they are the byproduct of our metabolism, which is electrically charged ions that attack the cells tearing through the cellular membranes. So they react and create havoc with the nucleic acids, proteins and enzymes present in the body. So these attacks of free radicals, they are collectively known as oxidative stress, and they are capable of causing cells to lose their structure, function, and they can eventually destroy them. So these are the various adverse health effects of the oxidative stress. It may be in the form of affliction of the reproductive system. It may affect our multi-organs, causing cancer, then inflammations, infections. It may cause some of the skin issues in the form of psoriasis, dermatitis and eczema. Then it may also affect our immune system. It may affect our musculoskeletal system. Then it may also affect the heart, blood vessels, and also the kidneys it may be affecting. And the most dreadful is it may affect the brain, and it may cause the Alzheimer's disease and the Parkinson's disease. The research studies, they show that when there is exposure to some of the pesticides, they may lead to some of the dreadful diseases like Parkinson's. And also one thing to mention is that we all know about the tragedy of the endosulfan disaster in the Kasaragod district of Kerala, which had affected many of the generations of the children. So these are some of the things which are affecting the oxidative stress. Now, how the Agada Aushadas they can help? As per Acharya, in Charaka Samhita, it is said that in the Kushta Chigilsa, many of the Agada Panas and Agada Lebas can be used. And if we are going for the Panchakarmas, they can help in eliminating the accumulated toxins in the body. Now, if we minutely see, if we analyze the pharmacodynamics of many of the polyherbal formulations and the Agadas, we will see that most of them are Rakta Prasadaga, Rakta Shodhaga, they are having Kandugna and Krimigna properties. And many of the drugs like the Pippali, Haridra, Shirisha which is said to be one of the best Vishagna Dravya in Ayurveda, all of them they are having the free radical scavenging properties which will help in combating any type of oxidative stress. If we see most of the drugs, they are having nephroprotective, hepatoprotective, immunomodulatory, antioxidant as well as anti-cancer activity. The antioxidant activity of all these specific drugs, they help to prevent the cell death and they serve for the adequate cell proliferation. So this is how the Agada Aushadas can help in some of the Dushi Visha diseases. Hence, to manage Dushi Visha, it can be managed through Nidana Parivarjana, that is avoiding the causative factors, through applying the proper Shodhana as well as Shamana Chigilsa. Mostly after Shamana Chigilsa, we should go for the Shodhana. Then the Patya and Apatya Ahara has to be followed along with Rasayana and Ojaskara Aushadas. Now many of the Agadas, they are having specific Rasayana Swabhava. So it will help in preventing the recurrence of many of the Dushi Visha diseases. Hence, to summarize, this Dushi Visha concept has a significant role in today's modern era. With the increased urbanization, the technological advancements, the sedentary lifestyle and the faulty food habits, the human health is at high risk. So why not we apply the principles of Dushi Visha? It can work wonders and it can prevent many of the diseases like the infertility and many of the reproductive health problems, the skin issues, many of them can be, most of the chronic disorders can be treated with the Dushi Visha principles. This is all what I have to say about the Dooshivisha concept. Thank you.